Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I'll be talking about Washington Commanders rookie linebacker Kadrono and how he possibly could be switching positions from linebacker to more of a safety position or a hybrid position. And yeah, let's get right into it. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, all that good stuff. It really does appreciate, or I really do appreciate it, and it really does help out a ton. Comment down below whatever you want, that also helps out. So let's get right into it. So OTAs happened today. Wasn't able to record, right after it happened. Had my first day, as an intern today. So I'm going to figure out that whole schedule. Might start posting videos during lunch breaks, some scheduled videos. So recording this June 4th at night, we'll post it tomorrow. But I want to talk about some, interesting note here from JP Finley on Joe Witt, or what Joe Witt said. He said, Kadrono, he said, wanting to see if he's more of a linebacker or a safety. Is he Frankie or is he Jeremy? So very interesting there. I don't know if that's the best. I don't know. I'm not a coach. I don't know if that's the best comparison. Kadrono is definitely not Frankie Louvu. They're nowhere near, in terms of like their play type and, the build. But I guess what he's saying is more of like, is he a linebacker or, is he more of a safety? Because, Kadrono, he's very small. I believe he's in terms of weight, 220. And for a linebacker, that's, not a lot of weight. And, he has the safety build. Let me pull up Kadrono's RAS score. We'll pull it up so just you can see some of his build right here. So I'll always like to pull up the RAS with these rookies just so you can see what they're working with a little bit. So 222 is basically right on the money right there, which is the only red or yellow. Everything else is really good. Like his height is good, almost 6'3", vertical leaps 38 inches, broad jumps great, 40-yard dash was fastest in the combine. For linebackers, 4.46, 20-yard split, 10-yard split, everything's good. It's just the height that's not great for a linebacker. So maybe, that's why there's the question of, all right, is he going to be more of a safety? And if he's a safety, he's going to be more in the box, obviously. Is he going to be, Buffalo nickel, hybrid, or is he just going to be a true linebacker? Who knows? He's a good coverage guy. So for a linebacker, he's going to be a very good, or very good in coverage if he's able to fix those other things too, because it doesn't matter how good in coverage you are. You can be like one of the best guys in coverage, but if you can't tackle and if you can't play against the run, which if you can't tackle, you can't play against the run, then you're not going to be able to really play, because they might have a good idea. All right, they're going to pass on this down, they're going to run on this down, but they're not going to know every time. And if you're a liability in terms of those things, you're not going to be able to play much. So if Kane can fix those things in terms of, and I'm not saying he's, we'll see in terms of being a liability as a tackler, but he wasn't great at UCLA. That was one of the reasons he wasn't drafted on day one. He wasn't drafted on day two either, is because of his tackling. He has good traits, but his tackling, isn't great. So if he can fix some of that, he'll be able to play more of a linebacker position. And safeties have to tackle too. A lot of times they're the last man, and still, a lot of the safeties, besides linebackers, they probably get the second most tackles on the team. So I believe he'll be a hybrid between the two positions. Kind of like, I'm trying to think of a comparison that the Commanders have had recently. Like, I think Derek Forrest is a good comp. Start off more as a safety, but then kind of played a lot more in the box. I could see that. With a little bit more linebacker, than Derek Forrest played here for the Commanders. But for Joe Witt to bring that up publicly, is definitely something. It's, Ron Rivera, not to bring him up, but he always used to say interesting or important. I would say this is, more more important than interesting. A coordinator bringing up, a certain player and saying, is, the kind of bring up that position, this discussion debate is, definitely interesting. And I guess I should have mentioned Jeremy Reeves was, definitely more of a hybrid player as well. But I think that's, interesting. We'll talk about some other, I just said, is it, interesting or important? And I said important. Now I'm saying interesting, but I think it's a little bit of both for sure. Witt also said K. Madrano is a unique player because he has a background as a receiver. Added they're really testing him to see what he can be for the defense. So, yeah, that's another cool tidbit there from Zach Selby and Joe Witt that, he played receiver in the past. So, athletic guy, can do a lot of different things. And they're just gonna have to find that spot for him, that special spot. Starting maybe on special teams, going from there. He's sitting behind Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, two great linebackers to learn behind. Let's see any other things. So I'll talk about some takeaways. Might make separate videos on some of these guys, but Daron Payne, was the talk of the town today. Dan Quinn talked about him, that he's had a great offseason. I believe Joe Witt talked about that too. Joe Witt was talking about Quan Martin, saying he's taken a, good step this offseason, in terms of his leadership role. So this is his third year. That's really, I believe, when you're like a vet. The first year, obviously, you're a rookie. Second year, you're still a young guy. But third year, you've had 2 full years, so definitely more of a vet there. He was talking about Kinlaw, said they could, it was either Quinn or Joe Witt, but they talked about how they can move Kinlaw around, play him all over the defensive line, which will make it definitely harder for, some of these coordinators to figure out these matchups. So will be interesting there. Let's see. I'm just going to pull up some John Keim things, some tweets. So there's some clips there if y'all want to see. But I do want to see anything else he said. The normal guys that weren't there last time weren't there today. So Marshawn Lattimore, Terry McLaurin, and Laramie Tunsil. So would like to see the 3 of them there. Terry, I definitely understand why he's not there. The other 2, it's a little disappointing. I mean, again, it's voluntary. It doesn't matter really matter at the end of the day. But Larry Tunsil's new team. I think you should be there. But again, it's voluntary. It is what it is. Witt said pass rush is going to be better. Run defense is going to be better. I hope, man. I really do hope. But I believe him. He said with Lattimore, a little bit of nothing there. What he said about Payne, I've been really pleased. He's leading by example this year. You can see him taking that leadership role to the next step. Said he stood out. Well, I'll see. I'll believe. I was about to say I see it when I believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. Talked about Kinlaw. Said they can play him all over the line. Said it'll be tough for tight ends to block. If/when outside can be a problem inside, and he's an intriguing young man to work with. So we'll see how Javon Kinlaw does. Definitely a guy that a lot of people thought we overpaid. And, this is a chance for him and, the Commanders to prove that that wasn't the case. So we'll see what Kinlaw does this year. It's a 3-year, $45 million contract. So hopefully, he can add to this defensive line, make it a better run-stopping defensive line, and also get to the quarterback. He's never really gotten to the quarterback a lot, but he's drafted in the first round for a reason. Very talented, and let's see if he can put it all together here with some of these special coaches. Dan Quinn's a really good coach. You got Daryl Tapp in there. Joe Witt, has shown some signs of being a good coordinator. So you got a lot of good people in the build. You got Ryan Kerrigan in there as well, which I haven't even really thought about him in a while. But Ryan Kerrigan, I think's a good coach to have in the building too, former player, and has a lot of experience with some of these players. I mean, I guess I'm trying to think if he played with any of these players. I don't think so, but obviously played in the league for a minute, so can share his experiences, and sometimes the players like to hear and get coached by other players for sure. So I think that was good, and I think that's really it from OTAs today. Nothing crazy. I saw a tweet that Keim, this wasn't a tweet from Keim, but someone said that Keim said on his podcast that Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt was like the fastest guy out there during OTAs today. So that was cool to hear for sure. But thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.